The pen is in your hand. Why your trauma doesn't get the final word. I recently had the privilege of sitting down with Alon Andrea Latson, a voice of wisdom, resilience, and radical transformation. Alon Andrea Latson is someone who understands what it means to live through pain and come out on the other side, not just surviving, but thriving. They are making the world a better place by reminding us that healing is not only possible, it is our birthright. They're teaching us that softness is not weakness, that rest is not laziness, and that rewriting our story is not just an option, it's a revolution. And today I want to share the powerful insights from that conversation with you because what Alon Andrea Latson taught me is something we all need to hear. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Trauma has a way of convincing you that your story is already written, that the pain you've endured is the prologue, the plot, and the ending, that you are forever defined by what happened to you, not by what you choose to do next. But that's a lie. And it's a lie that keeps too many of us stuck, small, and silent. Alon Andrea Latson shared something with me that I can't stop thinking about. They said that trauma does not define your future. Your past struggles, your pain, the things that broke you, they may shape your perspective, but they do not have to dictate your destiny. With strength and perseverance, you can rewrite your story and create a bright future for yourself. Let that sink in for a second. You can rewrite your story, not erase it, not pretend it didn't happen, but rewrite it. Take the pen back. Decide what comes next. And that's where faith comes in, but not faith as some passive, fingers crossed, hope for the best kind of thing. No. Elon Andrea Latson reminded me that faith and action go hand in hand. Belief alone is not enough. It is the combination of faith and purposeful action that leads to transformation and tangible results in your life. Faith without action is just wishing. And wishing doesn't heal wounds, it doesn't pay bills, it doesn't rebuild trust, it doesn't get you out of bed on the days when your body feels like it's made of concrete. Action does that. Faith fueled, intentional, one foot in front of the other action. Let me tell you about someone who lived this truth in a way that still gives me chills. Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty in rural Mississippi, endured childhood abuse and neglect, faced discrimination as a Black woman in America at a time when the world was even less kind than it is now. She had every reason to believe her story was already written, every reason to stay small, every reason to accept the narrative that her pain had penned for her. But Oprah didn't do that. She relied on her faith, her education, and a relentless work ethic to move forward. She sought out mentors, she looked for opportunities in media, and after years of hardship, after being told no more times than most of us could count, she got her breakthrough as a news anchor, which eventually led to her own talk show. She became the first Black female billionaire, won multiple Emmy Awards, founded the Oprah Winfrey Network, built an empire. But here's what I want you to hear. Oprah's story isn't just about success, it's about survival meeting faith. It's about a woman who refused to let trauma have the final word, and her impact immeasurable. She inspires countless people, particularly Black women, to overcome adversity and believe in the power of faith and self determination. That's what happens when you combine faith with action. You don't just survive, you become a force. Now let's talk about Tyler Perry. Because if Oprah's story is about rising, Tyler's story is about resurrection. He grew up in an abusive household in New Orleans, suffered physical and emotional abuse, struggled with homelessness while pursuing his dreams. His early plays were met with little success. He failed over and over again. And I mean failed. Empty theaters, maxed out credit cards, sleeping in his car kind of failed. But Tyler turned to writing as a form of healing. He used his faith to guide him through setbacks and repeated failures. And eventually, his perseverance paid off. Sold out shows, a loyal following, a successful series of stage plays that broke into film and television. He built Tyler Perry Studios, became a billionaire, and became a major force in Hollywood. But here's the part that gets me. Tyler's work provides representation and opportunities for Black actors, writers, and directors. He didn't just heal himself, he created a space for others to heal, to be seen, to thrive. That's purpose beyond pain. That's what happens when you refuse to let your trauma define you. And then there's Dr. Joy Harden Bradford, a Black psychologist who founded Therapy for Black Girls. She saw a gap, a massive gaping hole in mental health resources for Black women. She knew that Black women face unique barriers to mental health care, including stigma, lack of access, and distrust of the medical system. She knew that too many Black women were suffering in silence, convinced that asking for help was a sign of weakness. So she created an accessible online platform and podcast, providing culturally relevant resources and a directory of Black female therapists. Therapy for Black girls has helped thousands find support, community, and healing. Dr. Bradford built a thriving online community, a podcast with millions of downloads, and a national directory of therapists. She normalized mental health conversations and empowered Black women to seek help and heal from trauma. She used her expertise and her faith in collective healing to fill a void. And in doing so, she reminded us that healing is not just personal, it's communal, it's sacred, it's necessary. These stories, Oprah's, Tyler's, Dr. Bradford's, they all point to the same truth that Alon Andrea Latson shared with me. Healing is a journey, not a destination. Reinventing yourself after hardship is possible, and every step toward healing is a powerful act of self love and courage. Embrace the process and give yourself permission to evolve. Give yourself permission to evolve. That's the part we forget. We think healing is supposed to look a certain way, that it's supposed to happen on a timeline, that we're supposed to wake up one day and be fixed. But healing doesn't work like that. Healing is messy, it's non-linear. It's two steps forward, one step back, and sometimes a full on stumble. And that's okay because every step, even the stumbles, is progress. Alon Andrea Latson reminded me that this journey is not about perfection. It's about permission. Permission to rest, breaker, permission to say no, permission to let go of the roles and masks and responsibilities that were never yours to carry in the first place. And for those of us who have spent years in survival mode, for those of us who have led teams, raised families, held down households, carried communities, this is revolutionary because we've been taught that softness is weakness, that rest is laziness, that saying no is selfish. But what if softness is actually strength? What if rest is resistance? What if saying no is the most loving thing you can do for yourself? Alon Andrea Latson is living proof that you can shift from constantly grinding to finally grounding in joy, peace, softness, and self prioritization. And that shift doesn't happen by accident, it happens through faith and action. It happens through intentional choices. It happens through one small, courageous step at a time. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take one small, courageous step toward healing, whether that means reaching out for support, setting a new goal, or simply believing that your story can change for the better. Let faith guide your actions and allow yourself to envision a brighter future. Maybe that step is making a phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's setting a boundary with someone who's been draining your energy. Maybe it's just sitting in silence for 5 minutes and letting yourself feel whatever you need to feel without judgment. Maybe it's writing down one thing you're no longer willing to carry. Maybe it's saying out loud, I deserve rest. I deserve peace. I deserve joy. Whatever it is, do it. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because here's the thing, your trauma does not get to write the rest of your story. You do. And the pen is in your hand right now. Alon Andrea Latson wants you to feel empowered, inspired, and uplifted. They want you to feel confident that no matter your past, you have the strength and faith to create a new chapter in your life. They want you to feel seen, validated, and hopeful about the possibilities ahead. And I want that for you too. I want you to know that you are not broken. You are not too damaged. You are not too far gone. You are healing. You are evolving. You are becoming. And that becoming, it's beautiful. It's sacred. It's yours. So let's stop waiting for permission. Let's stop waiting for the perfect moment. Let's stop waiting for the pain to completely disappear before we start living again. Let's start now. Let's combine our faith with action. Let's take the small steps. Let's embrace the journey. Let's give ourselves permission to evolve because the world needs what you have to offer. The world needs your story. The world needs your voice. The world needs you healed and whole and free. And you deserve that too. You deserve to wake up and feel joy. You deserve to set boundaries without guilt. You deserve to rest without explanation. You deserve to be soft in a world that taught you survival. Alon Andrea Latson reminded me of that. And I'm reminding you, your story is not over. In fact, it's just beginning. But here's the part that matters most. This isn't just about you feeling better. This is about you becoming the person who breaks the cycle, who shows the next generation that healing is possible, who models what it looks like to choose yourself without apology, who proves that trauma doesn't get the final word. Because when you heal, you don't just change your life, you change the trajectory of everyone who's watching you, your children, your community, the people who are silently struggling and waiting for someone to show them it's okay to put the cape down. That someone is you. So here's my challenge to you, stop treating your healing like it's optional. Stop putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own and calling it love. Stop shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable. Pick up that pen, take that step, let faith meet action, and watch what happens next because I promise you, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be the beginning of the life you were always meant to live. The pen is in your hand. Now write.